Hi everyone, Chad from Fronley Plants here today to introduce you to Purdy, the bird of paradise palm. Purdy is native to South Africa, but you can actually find Purdy all around the world now in the Caribbean, South America, in Portugal, and has become a really popular houseplant because it's quite easy to grow indoors and a pretty hardy plant. Doesn't require a lot, so I do recommend this to beginners looking for more of a statement plant, something that can grow quite quickly and will tolerate a variety of light conditions. Ideally, you want to place this in a bright spot. It can tolerate direct sun, which is a bit unusual amongst more green foliage tropical plants. But this one can tolerate a lot of direct sun. So a south-facing window is great. East and west-facing windows, it'll also grow really well in. Can tolerate low light spaces, but just won't grow very much and might take a little bit of time to adapt. So in terms of watering, you're gonna want to let this dry out a bit between watering, and you're gonna wanna let the soil dry out about 50% of the way. A good way to check this is using a chopstick or something else that you can get down into the soil, and you want to push the chopstick about 50% down into the pot, and then when you pull it out, check to see if that soil is moist. If it's still moist, leave it alone, check again in a few days time. If it's dry, then you're going to want to give it a nice even watering. So I recommend taking it to a sink or a bathtub and using your jug or your watering can, water the surface of the soil evenly all the way around and really thoroughly, and until water begins to drain from the base of the pot freely. And then once you've reached that point, you let it drain for about 15 to 20 minutes in the sink or the tub. And then once it's drained, take it back to wherever it usually lives. In the summer, that's probably going to be around once a week or so. And in the winter, probably less frequently, so every 2 to 3 weeks or so. But definitely check soil moisture. That's how you really know when it's time to water a plant. In the wild, this plant grows some pretty spectacular flowers, and it's actually where it got its name, Bird of Paradise. Its flowers looks like a bird. It's a pink and an orange flower, but in your home it's pretty unlikely to flower, unfortunately, unless you have pretty ideal conditions, namely a lot of sun. So in order for this to flower, it's gonna need to get 4 to 6 hours of direct sun every day, consistent watering. And the other thing if you really want to try to get it to flower, is it needs to be fairly root bound. So unlike some houseplants, this does pretty well and will more likely flower if it's in a smaller pot. And so you don't want to repot this plant too often if you're looking for really good results. The nursery pot that it comes in, you can actually leave it in that pot for probably 2 years or so before it needs to be repotted. New leaves will actually come out from the stalks. You can see a few back here. They come out rolled, and it's really interesting to see. And then it sort of unfurls as it grows up the stalk. Quite spectacular and fun to look at. And then once they come out, they're a lighter green color. They're a little bit like the shape of an oar. And then you can see the more mature leaves, they get darker as they get older. But all around, a really stunning plant. Great for living room, for making a statement. These can get up to 8 feet tall in a home. Very low maintenance in terms of watering. Very easy to grow. Good for spaces with lots of light. Can tolerate low light as well, but won't grow too much, so definitely recommend this for a brighter space. But great for a beginner that's looking for a statement plant. So yeah, check it out at fronleyplants.com. Again, this is Purdy the Bird of Paradise. Definitely one of our favorites.